So this is the YMBA Diploma Abhidhamma 2025 questions. So there are two questions here, question 5 and question 6. They're prepared by. Okay, so the first one is question 5. Describe the method of conditional relations, Patana Naya. Introduction. In the three baskets, Tipitaka, there are Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. In the Sutta Pitaka, on the 4th week after his enlightenment, this is based on tradition, the Buddha reflected on the Patana, and his body emitted rays of colored lights as depicted in the Buddhist flag. In the Abhidhamma Pitaka, there are 7 books of collection. The 7th book is called Patana, conditionality. It's like a matrix of causes, effects, and the forces of interplay. So let's go into the Patana Naya. Patana Naya methodically explain the interdependence of the causes, or sometimes we call it conditioning states. And in Pali is Pachaya. The effects called conditioned states of Pachaya Upana, as well as the forces, the Pachaya Sati, that enable this to happen. That means it's 3 components. One is the causes, then effects, and the forces. Or in this particular essays, I will use the conditioning states, and the effects is the conditioned states. And the condition refers to the forces. Unlike dependent arising, there is paticca samuppada, which emphasizes on linear causality and the major cause and the major effect. Patana explore complex, simultaneous, and reciprocal interactions between ultimate realities and place emphasis on the conditioned forces, that is the Pachaya Sati. Patana brings out the causal relations between Nama-rupa with Nama-rupa at the moment-to-moment level, that is at the ultimate reality level. A single moment-to-moment happening may be described based on or ascribed to various conditions. And there are 24 conditions that is Pachaya enumerated in the Patana. These are, for easy memory, I use this short form to help me and to group it so that it's easier for me to remember. So Hetu, and then Aramana, Adipati, then Anyamana, then this is Anantara, then Samantara, and Sahajata and Anantara. Then Nisaya and Upanisaya, Purijata and Pachajata. And this is Asivana. Then this is Kama and Vipaka as a pair, Ahara and Indriya as a group. Then Jhana and Magga. Then this is Sampayutta and Vipayutta. Then the last 4 is Ati, Nati, Vigata, and Avigata. So this is how I will try to use this to help me to remember the sequence as well as the 34 Pachaya. So let's go into the first one, Hetu Pachaya, root condition. Here the conditioning state is also the root for the conditioned states. That means the cause, the conditioning state is the cause, is also the root for the effect. And what does the root refers to is actually it gives fixity and strength to the conditioned states. I forgot to fill in the details on here. And there are 6 roots, namely 3 unwholesome roots and 3 wholesome as well as indeterminate roots. The Abhyakata Hetu. These 3 unwholesome roots are greed, hatred, delusion, Lobha, Dosa, and Moha, which condition the 12 unwholesome consciousness, the 12 akusala chitta. and the associated mental factors. And at that point, is you have to exclude the root mental factor, because all the 6 roots are actually mental factors. And the associated mental factors as well as the associated material bond of karma and consciousness. So you see, the 12 unwholesome consciousness, the lobha, dosa, and moha can condition the 12 unwholesome consciousness, as well as the associated mental factors and the associated material bond of karma and consciousness. That is the kamaja and chittaja rupa. Similarly, the 3 wholesome and indeterminate roads are non-greed, alobha, non-hatred, adosa, and non-delusion or wisdom, called panya indriya, panindriya chittasika, which conditions the 59 beautiful consciousness and their associated mental factors and material bond of karma and consciousness. So the second one is aramana pachaya, object condition. The conditioning state is also the object for the conditioned states. That means the conditioning state becomes the object for the conditioned states. So the conditioning states are of 6 kinds, namely the eye object or color, the ear object or sound, the nose object or smell, the tongue object or taste, the body object or tangible, there is potapa, which is the earth, heat, and wind element. And the 6th is the mental objects or the Dhamma. And this includes concept and nibbana. Whereas the conditioned states are the 89 chittas and 52 chittasikas. That means you can be from rupa to nama. And of course, as well as the nama to nama also. That means the mentality to mentality or materiality to mentality. The third one is adipati pachaya, that is the predominance condition. It is where the conditioning state is very exceptional or desirable, such that it is very dominant over the conditioned states. For co-nascence predominance condition, the conditioning state can be desire, chanda, effort, viriya, or investigation, vimansa, which is also panindriya chittasika. The conditioned states, that is the effect, are the 52 rooted, that is 2 or 3 roots, javana. That means excluding moha, moha root, moha hetu, chitta, and their associated mental factors and the material bond of consciousness. Next, we'll read Anantara Pachaya and Samantara Pachaya together. So Anantara is proximity, that means one after another. Samantara is contiguity. It's actually also the same. It's just like difference in names. So proximity and contiguity conditions are similar in meaning, but differ only in letter, that is the terms are. The conditioning state conditions the conditioned states to arise immediately after it has ceased. That means when conditioning state cease, then the conditioned states will arise in accordance with the fixed order of the mental process. That is the viti process. So in other words, is the preceding chitta ceases to allow the succeeding chitta to arise without any other reality in between. As an example, in the 5 sense law cognitive process, after the sense consciousness, the vijnana, has ceased, it is immediately followed by the receiving consciousness, sampati jhana, and so on. Then the sixth, sahajata pachaya, connaissance condition, will read together with anya manya pachaya, mutuality conditions. Sahajata pachaya is where the conditioning state on arising, it conditions the conditioned states to arise together, that is simultaneously with itself. Good examples are the relationship between chitta and chittasika. That means when chitta arises, chittasika also arises. So they always come together, and so chitta can condition chittasika. And the second one is the chitta that conditions the material bond of consciousness. That is, chitta condition chitta chittaja rupa. The four great elements condition the 24 direct matter to arise. So this is what we call sahajata pachaya. Whereas in anyamanya pachaya, the mutuality condition, it is where the sahajata pachaya operates in both ways, that is forward way and the backward way. So in a way, the conditioning state is also the conditioned state, and vice versa. Good examples are mutual conditioning between chitta and chittasika. That is, chitta will condition chittasika, and chittasika will also condition chitta. And these are simultaneously. The chitta condition chittasika, and also simultaneously chittasika condition the chitta. Similarly, among the four great elements, that is Patavi, Apo, Tejo, and Vayu, they mutually condition each other. And also during the Patisandhi Kana, the Patisandhi moment, the heart-based Hadaya Vatu and the resultant mental aggregates, that is the Patisandhi chitta as well as the chittasika, they mutually condition each other. So next we go to number 8 is Nisaya Pachaya, support condition, and the number 9 is Upanisaya Pachaya, decisive support condition. Nisaya Pachaya is a condition where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to arise by providing support or foundation on which they depend. There is connaissance support condition, that is, it is also identical to connaissance condition, and the pre-nascent support, which is identical to pre-nascent condition. A good example of pre-nascent support example is the sense spaces, the batu, the 5 sense spaces, especially the 5 sense spaces, which has arisen earlier, provide the support for the arising of the sense consciousness and the concomitant mental factors later. And Upanisaya Pachaya is the condition where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to arise by providing it with very strong support of conditions. And this is threefold, namely the object decisive support. Number 2 is the proximity decisive support. And the fourth one is natural decisive support conditions. For object decisive support condition, the conditioning state has to be an exceptionally desirable or important object. And a good example of natural decisive support is past loba. That means previously there is the loba. That past loba will support the present loba to arise. Similarly with sada as well as the other things. For example, we have the metta, then the past metta will also support the present metta. Next, we go to number 10 is Purijata Pachaya, pre-nascent condition. And number 11 is Pacha Jata Pachaya, post-nation condition. Puri Jata Pachaya is a condition where the conditioning state, which has already existed, that means much earlier, conditions the conditioned states. A good example is the six sense spaces, Vatu, which has already arisen and still existing, condition the arising of the respective consciousness. Whereas Pachajata Pachaya is where the conditioning state, which arises later, that means after, before, after the, it arises after the conditioned state. Now, that means it's the opposite of the Purijata. An example is the later arising consciousness. Supports the materiality that has arisen with the preceding consciousness. So in Purijata is always the Rupa conditioned Nama. Whereas in Pachajata, it is the Nama that conditions the Rupa. Number 12 is Asivana Pachaya, repetition condition. This condition is where the conditioning state condition the conditioned states, which is of similar type, to gain strength, power, and efficiency after it has ceased. That means the conditioning state has ceased. This mainly applies to Javana Chitta. The first Javana gives repetition condition to the second Javana. The second Javana to the third Javana, and so on, until the sixth Javana to the seventh Javana. The seventh Javana does not give Asivana Pachaya to Tadaramana because they are of different types. Or even if Javana to Bhavanga, that doesn't apply because they are of different types of Chitta. So number 13 is the Karma Pachaya. There is a Karma condition. It is where the conditioning states volition, that means the Chitana, that causes the concomitant conditioned mental states to perform their respective functions and the appropriate material phenomena to arise simultaneously. This is where karma is generated. Number 14 is Vipaka Pachaya, result condition. It is where the conditioning state makes the conditioned states that arise together with it to be passive and effortless as itself, that means as the conditioning state. So the conditioning states are resultant. That means the cause is actually the resultant of Vipaka Chitta and the associated Chitta-Chitta. So this conditioning happens when the mind is normally in deep sleep, and or in the Abhidhamma terms is in the flow of Bhavanga. Number 15 is the Ahara Pachaya, nutriment condition. It is where the conditioning state nourishes and supports the conditioned state. These are the essence of food, edible food, or they call it oja, that supports the physical body. And the other component is the nama, that is the contact, mental volition, and book consciousness that nourishes the co-nascent mental and material phenomena. Number 16 is the Indriya Pachaya, faculty condition. It is a condition where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to arise by exercising control in a particular department of function. That means the conditioning state has control over the conditioned states. And this is threefold. That is pre-nascent faculty conditioning, material life faculty conditioning, and the co-nascent faculty conditioning. For co-nascent faculties conditioning, The conditioning states are Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya. And these are for the conditioned states of beautiful mental states, that is the Sobbana, Chitta, and Chittasika. Number 17 is Jhana Pachaya, Jhana condition. Is a condition where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to participate in the close contemplation of an object. Just like the jhana factor, it contemplates the object closely. Thus, the conditioning states are the jhana factors or the 5 chittasikas, which is the vitakka, vichara, piti, vedana, and ekagata. And the conditioned states are the 79 chittas, that is minus the 10 dvi pancha vijnana. And the 52 chittasikas associated with the jhana factor. So the number 18 pachaya is the magga pachaya, half condition. It is a condition where the conditioning state relates to the conditioned state by causing them to function as a means for reaching a particular destination. That means the path leads to a very special destination. That is, jhana will lead to jhana destination. The magga will lead to nibbana destination. So the conditioning states are the 12 path factors or the 9 chittasikas. This you have to refer to the chapters on chapter 8. For the four wrong path factors, it leads to the wrong or willful destination. Whereas the beautiful path factors, that is the 8 chittasika, which is equivalent to the Noble Eightfold Path, leads to blissful and happy destination as well as Vimana. Next, we go to number 19, Sampayutta Pachaya, association condition. 20 is Vipayutta Pachaya, dissociation condition. But Sampayutta Pachaya is where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to arise and be associated with it in an inseparable group. Examples are between Chitta and Chittasikas and the 4 Mahabhutas. So you seem to see a lot of repetition now. Chitta, Chittasika, and the 4 Mahabhutas. So that's why these two has a lot of conditions that is in play when they come into existence. In the case of Vipayutta Pachaya, is where the conditioning state causes the conditioned states to arise, but they are separated because of their different types. For example, nama is different from rupa. Rupa is different from nama, no? But they causes each other to arise. So, and examples are the 6 sense bases, which is rupa. For the 7 consciousness elements, there is the 7 vijnana dhatu, and these are nama, and it is by way of pre-nascent dissociation condition, and during their existence, that is the bhavati, life during life period. And the second example is the resultant name aggregates, the namakanda or the patisandhi, and the heart-based hadaya watu at the rebirth linking moment, and that is by way of co-nascent dissociation condition. This first one is pre-nascent, then the second one is the co-nascent. Then the last 4 is ati pachaya, present condition, and 22 is nati pachaya, absent condition. Vigata pachaya, disappearance condition, and the last one, 24, is avigata pachaya, non-disappearance condition. So these 4 conditions are in 2 pairs. Ati is opposite to nati, and similarly, avigata is opposite to vigata. However, Ati and Abhigata is identical. It's different in words, but in terms of meaning, they are the same. Because they look at it from a different perspective. Similarly, Nati and Vigata are similar or identical. So Ati Pachaya and Avigata Pachaya are where the conditioning state been present or not disappearance. They conditions the conditioned states to arise or persist. Or that is, to cause it to arise or to cause it to continue on to exist. Both the states exist. That means the conditioning states, the conditioning states and the conditioned states both exist together. And the conditioning state supports the conditioned states in some way during that period of overlap. That means while they are together, the cause supports the effects. Thus, these include connascence, pre-nascence, and post-nascence. That means Sahajata, Purijata, and Pachajata. Examples are between Chitta and Chittasika. So these are the connascence together, when they arise together. The six sense bases and with the subsequent mentality. These are the what you call pre-nascence, and later arisen mentality that supports the earlier arisen material born of consciousness. These are the post-nascent condition. Whereas Nati Pachaya and Vigata Pachaya are where the conditioning state conditions the conditioned states to arise immediately by being itself absent. That is, the conditioning state ceases. Then only the conditioned states can arise by being absent or it disappeared. So the conditioning state ceases for the conditioned state to arise. Thus, this is identical to Anantara, that is the proximity, and Samantara, the contiguity, Pachaya. Example is in the cognitive process, Vitti. The preceding consciousness ceases for the succeeding consciousness to arise. As an example is, after the Vijnana Chitta has ceases, then only the Sampachana Chitta can arise. Similarly, when Sampachana Chitta has ceased, then only the Santirana Chitta can arise. So this continue on throughout the Vitti, and that is based on the natural law of Vitti. So as a conclusion, from the above description, Patana helps to explain the different and various aspects of conditioning in the causal relation to all phenomena, especially between Nama Rupa and Nama Rupa. Understanding these relationships might help a Vipassana meditator to have greater understanding and insight into causal relations, and thus reduce and later eradicate the idea of a permanent body, nicha, or phenomena, and or identification of a permanent self, that is a permanent soul, or there's something like body is the soul, or the soul is the body. So that is the end of my presentation for question 5.
Okay, good work. Anybody on comment?
So
actually, I not say the comment. I just want to ask actually how much we should write for a question.
Personally, I would say that this is a bit too much. I wouldn't be able to produce it in exam, and it would take too long time also. So but because this is assignment, so I make a point to write more, to research more, so that at least when it comes to exam, I will probably put in as much as I can within that time I allocate for, and the rest will be more like heading, and probably I'll just go to the conclusion. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes when I write the assignment, right, I also thinking we write so much, but in the exam actually, how much can we produce?
Doesn't matter if we can do it now in assignment, then at least we will probably be able to do better when we are doing exam. Whereas if we just do enough, then later when it comes to exam, we'll lose out a lot of items that we may not.
Okay, one thing added in, this particular Patana one, I would say is the most difficult among all the paper. This one, 24 one, can you really remember? That's the point. If you can't, very hard for you to attempt this question. So you better start to remember till next year when you are taking, okay? Don't laugh. Okay? You cannot, this question you'll give up.
I see Abhidhamma question all very tough.
Then diploma carry more value or early paper. Of course, diploma lah. So have to put in more effort lah. You think all chicken feet lah. So have to work hard lah. You still got one more year to prepare. So nothing is easy.
So it's better to tackle the number 6 question first. Then if you have no choice, then only tackle such question.
Yeah. Tackle those easy ones first. This one you want to remember the 24 also you pengsan already. Then every single one you want to explain.
And one whole year sure can remember unless you are very lazy.
Okay, Sister Chayun, you know how in fact now Indonesian classmate gave me a link to the Abhidhamma level 3 class, and it's now on Patana. You know how they do how the teacher helps us to remember it is every lesson they repeat the Pali, that means those Pali that they have summarized it, Hetu Pacaya, Aramana Pacaya, and all this, So from lesson 1, they have been repeating, and student has to participate. So in fact, after few lessons, we practically can remember in a way that those who are putting effort in, many of those students can remember already, and they don't even have to refer to the notes already. But for me, because I'm not the official student, I cannot participate officially. So I also try to remember and follow the lessons. I find that it does help me. So coupled with notes like those short forms, I seems to be able to remember more of the items compared to when I started initially. So it's possible one. And the second thing I realized is memorizing helps a lot when you come to do your revisions and you come to do your checking of your essays. Where are the so-called mistakes? You find that it becomes easier. So it's worth it. So it's better to do it as early as possible when you got the chance to do it. Then later on, it will be easier. It gets easier and easier. And that is where Asivana Pachaya really shows you the repetition condition really helps you a lot. So don't wait until the last minute. Then you don't have the repetition conditions to help you. Then that's where you will find that it's tough. But if you can do it early, then the repetition condition become very, very helpful. That's my personal experience.
Yeah, I agree. Agree.
You have also improved a lot, right? From your
Huh?
thesis, also I find that you have improved a lot.
I copy from other Laos, huh?
We have to start somewhere, ma. All of us learn from somebody else. Doesn't matter. So is there any other things, or if not, I'll proceed on with the 6th question.